Psalm 95, 1 through 4.
Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout for joy, sing for joy.
Hi Burnett families, and welcome to week 3 of Epic. It's great to have you here, and we're going to start with an episode of Grow TV.
Hi there, you little chicken nuggets. It's me, Carl. And this week, it's going to be epic. We got some exciting stuff happening, so get ready.
Welcome to Grow TV. Introducing your host, Carl. And your co-host, Cassie. Where we learn, where we grow, and we talk about Jesus. Once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Hello, welcome. I sure did miss you guys, like a lot. The past week I've done a lot of reading. I read a story in the Bible that you wouldn't believe. There was action. There was secrecy. I have a secret. And there was triumph. Thank you. Thank you. I won. You love me. You really love me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah! Yes! Yeah! I'm telling you, the story had it all, and it got me excited. Because this week's series is all about epic. And if I had one word to describe the story I read, it would be epic.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Cassie. I was just talking about this week's story.
What's the story?
Oh, man. It was great. It was the ultimate superhero story. A classic feel-good action drama. There's this lady named Rahab, right? And this lady made a lot of bad choices in her life. And outside the city, Joshua gathered 2 Israelite men who would sneak into Jericho and spy on the city.
Why would they do that?
Well, because God told them
Okay, keep going. This is a good story so far.
to. It really is. So the spies snuck into the city, and when it became nighttime, they went into Rahab's house to spend the night.
Was Rahab an Israelite?
Nope, she didn't know the spies, but she did let them stay. But someone did see the spies go into her house, so they told the king of Jericho that the spies were hiding in Rahab's house.
Oh no, she's gonna get in trouble.
Yep, so in the morning, the officials went to her house, knocking on the door looking for the spies.
What did Rahab do?
Well, when Rahab found out that the king knew, she hid the spies on the roof and told the officials, yeah, they were here, but they left.
Well, that was a close one, but it's actually kind of cool, because she probably saved their lives.
She sure did. So Rahab let the spies escape through her window, but before they went, she only asked one thing.
What did she ask?
She asked if they would save her and her family when the Israelites took over Jericho. The spies said yes and told her to tie a scarlet ribbon outside her window. This would be a reminder of their promise to her and a symbol of her family being saved.
Wow, that is a great story. So what do you think the lesson to be learned is?
Are you serious? That was obvious. Ha, I'm gonna become a superhero.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna be a superhero. The most epic superhero ever.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Pretty simple. Rahab was a person who made a lot of bad choices.
Right.
And then when she saw the opportunity to help someone, she did. And she risked her life and the life of others to do the right thing. And guess what?
What?
So I was reading the Bible today, and in Hebrews 11, there's a thing called the Hall of Faith. It's like the Hall of Fame, but for people who obey God.
Okay, who was in the Hall of Faith?
Well, Moses, Nehemiah, Noah, Ruth, Abraham, and guess who else?
Batman?
No, but that would be cool. It was Rahab.
Really?
Yep, that's even more confirmation that I'm destined to be a hero, save the innocent, and take risks so I too can be in the Hall of Faith.
Wow, that seems like a pretty big dream.
I know, but that's what God has called me to do.
Is it though?
I think so.
I don't know, Carl. I think God is calling us to do something else.
Well, what do you mean?
I just think God has a pretty simple plan for us. Do you remember last week's big idea?
You mean I can trust God?
Yep. Why do you think Rahab risked her life to save those spies?
I don't know. Maybe she wanted to be in the Hall of Faith? She wanted to be admired as a superhero who saves people?
Nope. Rahab did that because she realized God is real, and she wanted to put her trust in God that day. She realized that taking a risk for God is a risk worth taking.
Wow, I never thought about it like that before. So you're saying I need to take risks for God?
Yep, we will often be faced with situations that require us to take risks, to do things that are tough or scary. But it's okay, because if God asks us to do something, we know God will be with us.
Things are tough and scary, huh? Well, does skydiving count as taking a risk for God?
I don't think so.
What about going up behind a horse and pinching it?
Definitely not.
What about drinking chunky lemon milk that's been in the fridge for 4 months? That's taking a risk, right?
Definitely a risk, but not one for God.
All right. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the story of Rahab is a really good example of what someone should be willing to do if they love God. Just like if we had a friend at school that might be in trouble, we know we would help them, even if it meant we would get in trouble.
You're right. I can still be an epic superhero as long as I take risk for God.
Whoa, Mr. Hall of Faith. I think you just said something pretty epic.
Wait, that's our big idea!
Today's big idea is I can take risks for God.
So on the count of 3, we're all gonna shout our big idea. Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. I can take risks for God! All right! Good job, we did it, everyone! Huzzah!
This was a fun story.
It sure was. Now I'm gonna go and practice my superhero catchphrases in the mirror. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for a new episode of Grow TV.
Do you remember last week's story? Remember Joshua and Caleb? They went with 10 other spies and they went into the promised land to see what the land was like. And when they came back, Joshua and Caleb trusted God and they told the Israelites that they should take the promised land. But the other 10 spies were afraid and they convinced the Israelites not to go into the land. Do you remember what God did because of this? That's right, he told the Israelites that they would not enter the promised land for 40 more years. That meant that a lot of the Israelites died, except for Joshua and Caleb and some of the younger people. And so in today's story, Joshua is the leader of the Israelites, and Moses has died now. And God has told Joshua that they are going to take the promised land. And that's where today's story starts out. Let's check it out.
Hello! Have I got an epic story for you today? It's about spies, adventure, and a woman named Rahab who saved the day. Rahab lived in a city called Jericho. Rahab had made some bad choices, but God had a plan for Rahab, even though she didn't always do the right thing. God told the Israelites, God's chosen people, to go to Jericho, but they didn't want to run in without knowing what they were getting into. So Joshua, their leader, sent 2 spies into the city. When the spies got there, they decided to stay the night at Rahab's house. The king of Jericho heard there were spies in his city, and he didn't like that. So he sent soldiers to capture them. But when they got to Rahab's house, she hid them and said they weren't there anymore. Meanwhile, the spies were hiding on her roof. After the soldiers left, Rahab went to the spies and told them she knew they were on God's side. She knew it was risky to protect the spies, but she knew it was even riskier not to side with God. So she asked the spies, "Will you save me and my family?" The spy said, "Sure." And Rahab let them down from the roof with a rope, sending them in the opposite direction of the king's soldiers. It must have been scary for Rahab to go against the king. After all, he was the most powerful person in her city. But Rahab chose to take a big risk to help God's people. And just like Rahab, I can take risks for God.
All right, well, it's time to get out our Bibles so we can read this story for ourselves. We're going to be in the Old Testament, so we're going to be heading to Joshua chapter 2, verses 1 to 15. After you're finished reading, you can discuss the following questions together.
Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed.
Isaiah 41:10.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but today I learned that I might have to take a risk for God. And you know what? I'm not so sure about this risk-taking thing. Today I got all these envelopes and they have situations where I might have to take a risk for God. And I think I need your guys' help. What I want you to do is when I read one of these, I want you to put in the chat below if you think it's worth the risk and why you think it's worth the risk. So, for instance, check this one out. This one says, show kindness to a bully. I don't know about that. That sounds pretty risky to me. What if the bully doesn't want my kindness? Or the bully's mean to me even more after I show them kindness? I don't know if it's worth the risk. What do you think? Let's open another one. Ugh. This one says, sit at school lunch with a kid who is sitting alone. I don't know. I like to sit with my friends. What about if the kid who is sitting alone is kind of weird or different? There's only a few more left. This time, I need your help telling me what the risk in the situation is. So when I read it, can you type in the chat what the risk I would be taking would be if I did this thing? Let's see. This one says, pray before eating lunch at school. What do you think the risk would be if I prayed before eating lunch at school? All right, here's another one. Oh, this one says, miss a movie to comfort a friend? All right, here we go. This one says, be late to class to help someone. What kind of risk would that be? Well, thank you guys so much. That was super helpful. I think some of those risks are definitely worth taking for God. All right, well, we're going to be reading a verse together, Philippians 4:13. So when it comes up on the screen, let's all read it together. Here we go. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Great job, everyone. Well, now it's time to discuss this question. How can this verse help us when we're thinking about taking a risk for God? Well, parents, we're going to finish by blessing our kids. So I'm going to have the blessing come up on the slide, and then you're going to place your hands on your kids, look them in the eyes, and repeat this blessing over them. Thanks so much for joining me, Burnett families, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.